Hey guys, I haven't dropped a video in a hot minute. Yes, I'm shirtless, but I'm not showing my bottom half, so this should be appropriate enough. My hair is a mess. I need a haircut. It's almost 10:30 at night, and it's been quite the week for me. If you guys had a great week, please drop a comment below of how your week went, and let's talk about it. Prayer requests, drop them below. I always say that all the time because I like helping out as much people as I can. Today we're going to be talking about law number 30. It's going to be make your accomplishments seem effortless. If you're here for the lesson today, hope you enjoy it and you find something that you can use this for. I generally like using this for work environments, but today we're going to be giving a little bit of real life situations, self-improvement work, friends, social life, and a little bit of a friendly reminder on how to use this law. So let's get into it. Don't show people how hard you worked or struggled to succeed. Hide the sweat, stress, and setbacks. Instead, present your skills, achievements, and results as if they came naturally to you. When things look effortlessly, people admire you more and respect your talents. So this just telling you in paragraph basically is make it seem like it's effortlessly, don't tell them how you did it, how you got there, or what efforts you made to do it. Just show up, do the work, and people will see. So self-improvement tips are practice behind the scenes so your growth looks natural in public. For an example, we're going to use my mechanic as an example for this because I feel like it's the best way I can relate and really express that. You want to make sure that you're getting side gigs that seem easy at first, but over time it shows that you're progressing in your growth. So maybe you might start doing oil changes at first, and instead of doing them in 2 hours, start doing them in an hour. Then you start doing them in 45 minutes, and then you get back to that record of 30 minutes of getting an oil change done. So when you get into the actual environment of being a mechanic at a professional environment, they're surprised on how quick you do oil changes. This can be with alternators, engine replacements, clutch replacements. And if you get enough of this going on, when you get into the actual work environment, people are going to be very surprised. They're going to be like, wow, this kid is just so good. How do you do it? And you don't share what you did to get there. You just show by your work. You don't show them how you get there. You show on how your work presents itself in that scenario. That's very, very clear what this law is talking about. Number 2, avoid oversharing your struggles. Let your results speak. Avoid sharing your struggle. It's pretty simple. Avoid sharing your mistakes. Avoid sharing the way you got there. Just keep the path as hidden as possible and as foggy as it can be so they just see your finish line. Because the problem is if they see your path and how you got there, they can copy that path. But the problem is when you copy that path, it's less rare of that path going to be passed through. Number 3 for self-improvement is build habits that make difficult tasks seem automatic. Get into the daily routine of reading if you really, really suck at reading. Get into the daily habit of practicing the difficult stuff that you have really struggled doing. For me, I always have a scarcity of doing valve cover gaskets. Why is that? Because the first time that I did a valve cover gasket, it was always leaking oil all the time into the spark plug tubes. I've at least done 3 valve cover gaskets, not only in my Celica, but in my Civic. Why? Because of those mistakes. But where you realize is in the background, if you're studying how to do a valve cover gasket, the torque setting of the valve cover bolts, if you can pre-lube the valve cover gasket, what are some tips and tricks that mechanics do so that they can perfect this job? You're always looking this stuff up to perfect your profession so that they can seem effortlessly and they seem automatic. And that's what you want to do is build habits of doing the tough tasks over and over and over again and try to find the time to study it when you're not doing it. Work. Don't reveal every detail of your process. Deliver clean results. When somebody asks you about how do you make your job so well done, just say that it comes natural to me. Like I said about that fog and that path. Try to make that path as foggy as possible so people can avoid copying that. And just say that, over time you just got better and better and better, but you don't want to give your whole plan. Oh, I started working here, started taking my time, really focused on integrity, then I did this, and then I did that, and blah, 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 blah. People don't want to hear the whole story. They just want to know your short and cut dry story. Number 2, take ownership of your role without complaining about the workload. In work environments, situations are going to get very stressful and very tough. And the best thing that you can do instead of breaking is building from it. And you build by just taking the L and taking the hit when the pressure is put on you. Just take the L, take the hit. Because when you do this, you become better at your profession. You become better at controlling your emotions. And you become better at what you're doing. You start becoming more successful. Why? Because you're self-developing in this process of pressure. And pressure should feel okay to you every now and then. Pressure shouldn't be okay all the time, but I believe in seasons where we need that pressure, we should tolerate it and really try to make the best out of that time that we're pressured in so we could become better. Number 3, learn to solve problems quietly before presenting solutions. A good example of this is a mechanic is trying to diagnose a faulty brake light. And let's say that the bulb is working. When you take this process quietly without asking other people, and you learn how to troubleshoot this work yourself, whether if that's YouTube videos, asking people out of the work environment for advice on how to figure it out, and studying on this. Maybe you've been dealing with this for the past 3 days, for an example, which is highly impossible, but usually diag work is pretty tough. You take 3 days doing this, you do your research, can't figure it out, but you do figure it out, and your coworkers ask you, how did you figure the situation out? You tell them that you took the guts within yourself and you studied the problem and you took your time to really understand what you were getting yourself into. Because when you truly understand something, you're gonna want to take your time with it to really know the depth functions of how that bulb works. There might be a relay, there might be wiring, there's a ground, there's power, you have to test for resistance, all this other fancy stuff, rather than just saying, well, the bulb is dead, that's it. And when you solve your problems quietly, it leaves a good impression, especially on your manager, the coworkers around you, because you didn't ask for help, but you figured it out. And that's what people like. Effort that you did by yourself, the start result on how you got there, and the end result that led to the problem being solved. People love this. People don't like being asked a lot of questions. They would rather just have you figure it out. And you can get to a point where you start annoying people by asking questions back to back to back to back when they've told you numerous times how to do it. But when you do it quietly the second time, after the first time they told you, the second time you do it quietly by yourself, taking your time, and you solve it, they're going to be very impressed and they're going to respect you a lot more. So learn to solve problems quietly before presenting solutions. Now we're going to get to friends and socials, and then a little bit of friendly advice. So friends and social life. Keep some mystery about how you handle challenges. So some people might be in the era where they love talking smack about people, and they say, oh, Juan's going a really tough time with his job and doing this and that. And then all of a sudden they say, wow, Juan found an amazing job, has amazing coworkers, this and that. And when you create that mystery within people where you're not expressing the plan that you're going for and the goals that you're going for, and you just kind of show up at the goal that you're supposed to be at, it leaves a good way mystery for other people to want to start a conversation with you, maybe held you up into a higher standard, or even a perception of respect, So like I said, they're holding you higher up there. And when you create that mystery, it introduces new people into your life, because now they want to know, what was the process you took, how long did it take you, and many of other questions. You'll be very surprised how mystery really attracts people into your life, and how mystery leads you to the goals that you want to be at, because you're not talking a lot, you're not bragging a lot, you're taking more of these actions and you're walking within your actions. Number 2, don't brag about how much effort you put in. Let others admire the income. Don't brag. The worst thing you can do, especially in video games, you guys know this, gamers know this, is when you brag about winning or brag about beating them or getting ahead, you usually end up losing most of the time. But why is this though? Because the ego within inside of you is now controlling the way you move your hands, you move your legs, your thought process. And that's why it's always good to humble yourself. Don't brag about how much effort you put in, that others admire the outcome, and be humble. Because when you're humble and you're at such a high place, people respect you. They're going to know that you hold yourself to a higher standard, and they're going to know that you aren't all that. Like, when you humble yourself, there's so much room for improvement within you. But if you have an ego, there's really probably this much room of improvement in your life, because you're just so full of yourself and thinking that you're all that you're so naive to knowledge, to wisdom, and to walking in the right way. Last but not least, stay calm under pressure so people see you as dependable. Practice staying calm if you want to make your accomplishments seem effortless. Be calm in all situations. When you're giving an overload of work, and I've witnessed this personally, be calm. Don't be confused. Don't be dazed. Don't be talking smack about the person that's giving you the overload of work. I'm guilty of this. I have done this. And just take it in, because when you do this repetition or overload of work, you're eventually going to find yourself at a very calm state because you're used to the workload. And when you find yourself calm with a heavy workload, people are going to respect you because you hold good composure and you're humble about it. Friendly advice: show the masterpiece, not the messy sketchbook. People respect results that seem smooth and natural. It makes you look confident, skilled, and in control. But remember, the effortless look only works if you actually put in the work privately. In the background, and I'll close you with this. In the background of your life, there's going to be stuff that builds you up. The Saw X movie, for an example, that humbling story of the Saw first one is that there were two kids from college and only had enough money to afford one room to record a whole movie. And that movie popped in the 2000s. And they were working in the background. Do you think people were shouting at them for having a small crew, for renting a room for so cheap and not having this big environment, going to Puerto Rico, flying for the couple streets and recording a movie for reason? No, of course not. They were goal orientated, they were focused, and they knew what they wanted, so they went for it. But that was behind the screens. Nobody knew this up until way later on when Saw 9 came out, or Saw 10 came out, obviously 10. And that humbles you, because at the end of the day, when you put in the work privately, these videos, for an example, I didn't think I was going to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'll be quite honest with you guys. I didn't even think I was going to get to 500 subscribers, but I did. But why was that? Quietly in the background, it was constantly brainstorming ideas, constantly listening to people, resharing popular content, and getting people to notice, getting people to click, getting people to comment. And I do that out of kindness, out of my own heart, to help. That's why you see a lot of DIY videos and fragrance review videos that don't really come up as often. Unless you see my page, then I probably dropped a review on it. And I'm probably the only one that's dropped a review on the fragrance. That's because I'm trying to help. And when you're working in the background, helping people, it comes back twicefold. All the time. You always get some type of double return. And if it doesn't, always like to say this, God is always going to pay it back. Because you're always trying to expand His kingdom and His love. So be patient. Work privately. And don't spread your plans to everybody, because there's a lot of people out there that can butcher your plans and really diminish you. And I'll close it with this. I remember my girlfriend was asking me when she got a job somewhere, one of her favorite IT jobs. She got an IT job somewhere. And she asks me, my work environment is this, and I truly, truly love it. What do you think? Me, as a person that thinks relatively neutral or biased most of the time, I told her, well, that's the honeymoon phase of the job, At some point, it's going to break down and find to a point where it kind of mellows away, and you might not like these coworkers as soon as you get to know them in deeper level, which is humbling, But I told my girlfriend this: when God blesses you and you seek other people, you never know who's the devil in your life trying to crush that dream that's inside of you. I can be a mechanic and have the best job in the world, but if I ask other people for advice, they're probably going to see that goal within me in the environment that I am in their own perspective and experiences, and respectfully enough, because we're humans and we have our own experiences, and that's how we can relate to other people. And they could be the devil in our lives. We have to be very careful, and we have to realize that when God blesses us, we thank God for it. We ask God to keep us humble in the situations where we're blessed, and to give us that motivation, that encouragement through Him. Because sometimes the other people in our lives can really butcher our dreams and crush our souls. That's going to be it for today's video, and that was Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortlessly. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Number 2, subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of love here. Niche fragrance reviews, biblical motivation, regular motivation, and of course, car content. If you feel like donating to the channel, the Cash App's here. These videos take a lot of effort, and these donations help out with sampling fragrances to help you find your fragrance. And last but not least, you guys already know, I love you guys, and God loves you too. Peace.